Hi there, welcome to my channel where I take you on tours of tiny and unique homes and showcase stories of people living alternatively. In today's video, we're going to meet Heidi and take a tour of her incredible Skoolie. Heidi has embraced the nomadic lifestyle so that she could travel the country with her home in tow while she's searching for a place to possibly settle down in the future.
How do I know if I want to settle somewhere or where I want to settle if I've never seen that place? That's kind of what I've been looking for, is a place that really feels like home.
If you like these kind of videos, make sure that you subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you know every single time we publish a new tour. But right now, let's meet Heidi and take a tour of her awesome bus turned tiny home.
Will you join me? Will you roll? Make this house our tiny home.
Welcome to Wayfinder the bus. Before I moved into the bus, I did the whole typical college, you graduate, you get a job, you start working, and I got caught up in that. Even while I was living in the city, I felt like I wasn't exploring to the full potential and that I didn't have enough time for myself. Why am I doing the same thing over and over again when I could be seeing something different every day? The main reason that I chose this bus is because of the length of it is 28 feet, so it's longer than a super short bus and it's shorter than a long bus. I was able to find it just on Facebook Marketplace, but I had been looking for like 6 months. I was very quick to go down and look at it. I was very quick to check it out and commit to the bus. I said, okay, it's gonna take you a year to build out this bus, and I stuck to it. It took me a year from the date that I purchased it to the day that I moved in, but it was working on it basically every day. I didn't have a job at the time, and I was with my parents, and I built it out in my dad's driveway. It was constantly there. I woke up and all I thought about was the bus. All I thought about was going down to do construction or to do demo or to paint. It was a long year of building the bus. Altogether, the bus cost me about $20,000. To be honest, living in the bus wasn't that much of a transition because I've lived in like small apartments and small house. Now I'm in the bus and it feels more like home than any of those places ever did. So I've been on the road for about 9 months, looking forward to exploring more of the West Coast and just really seeing some of these giant landscapes and seeing a part of the country that I never grew up in, that I never got to really experience. You can have a vacation, but you're always going back home. And home is always with me now. She's a 1999 International 3800 school bus. She's about 8 feet wide and 28 feet long and comes in around 20,000 pounds. The Wayfinder has a T444E engine and an AT545 transmission. She gets about 8 miles to the gallon. She does not sip fuel, she guzzles. So on this side of the bus, it's 7 windows long. I decided to delete a couple of windows, one on this side, 2 on the other side, where I would not be able to access them after putting in the construction. So my shower is behind this window. Up on the roof, I have 800 watts of solar and an AC unit that I added along with a fantastic fan. And the pipe over here is for my water heater, not a wood stove. So in the back we have my deck, which was essential to carry all of my extra stuff as far as propane, gasoline, generator to power my air conditioning unit. The deck is quite the feat. I'm very proud of it because the company we were going to get metal from wanted about $300 for the box tubing, and I went to the scrapyard instead and found an industrial cart. We cut that into multiple pieces, re-welded it together, and put it onto the frame of the bus, and now I have a deck for $25 instead of $300. The generator I would like to replace with something smaller. This is what I had available to me at the time, but I don't need something that's 6,000 watts to run my AC unit on top of the bus. My solar takes care of everything else. If I lose power for several days in a row with no sun, I have cloud coverage, I do want that generator as a backup. One of the features I love about my bus is the mandala that I painted on the side. It was a custom piece that I drew out, projected, and painted. I like it because it's standout and it makes me unique, and it taught me a lot of things about patience and troubleshooting along the way. I would recommend painting your bus if you feel confident, because once the paint is on there, it's on there. There's no going back unless you strip it all the way down, but it was a fun project and it taught me a lot. Another feature I love is my live edge table. It's a little tall, but it does allow me another platform to put things and set things down when I'm outside and camping. The main reason that I wanted a handicap bus was for the door, and this is why. It creates an amazing indoor-outdoor space, and it opens up my whole living room to be a nice open area in such a small space. Originally, I was going to get a bus with a handicap door in the back, which would be where my bed is, but I honestly love this so much better. I have 2 hooks inside where I can hang a swing and I can look at my view, hang on the swing outside the door, and it really just helps open up that space inside. Let's take a look inside. Welcome to the inside of the bus. So the interior height is 6 feet tall. I'm 5'10", so when I stand up, I only have a couple of inches, but it's just me and my rig, so it works out fine, and I didn't feel the need to do a roof raise. One thing I do want to point out is that the floor was raised above the wheel wells. It came like that from the factory due to the fact that it's a handicap bus. I lose a little bit of headroom, but I also didn't have to build around the wheel wells. And over here we have some stuff I like to hang up when I'm parked. It's my plants, my chandelier. I have a couple more little plants. It's nice to have knickknacks and stuff for a homey feel, but it also becomes kind of the dumping ground for whatever I want to put there as I'm coming in. So there's a double-edged sword there with that. So here we have my kitchen. I decided to repurpose all of these cabinets from Habitat for Humanity. I just repainted them and added some new hardware and got a simple countertop from IKEA, and these used to be toilet paper roll holders for the bathroom, but I turned them sideways and turned them into my upper cabinets because I didn't want a lot of space taken up overhead. The Restore was a great resource for the bus build in general because all of my cabinets cost me $140, and my sink was originally a double sink that I cut off the smaller side and then used in the bus for only $20. I have a 2-burner stove here, which I can accomplish most anything on. And my sink is nice and big, which I'm very happy that I went with that size. I can't stress enough how important it is to have enough room to do potentially laundry, all your dishes. I have this peel and stick tile that I just used to dress up the wall behind the sink. I think it just adds a really cool element without having to do a lot of work tiling. So to wrap up the kitchen, I went with a side loader fridge, and it's 110. It has served me very well. I love it so much. I rocked the cooler for a couple months, and after I got my solar installed, I was able to run my fridge, and it's seriously a game changer. I also have my basket up top for my pantry goods. It's just me in the rig, so I don't need a lot of space for those dry goods, so I have them all on top of the fridge. Alright, so if you come down and look here, I have a riser for the fridge. It makes it easier to reach things inside the fridge, and it acts as a storage spot for my dog's bowl. That is a slow feeder bowl because Porter will inhale his food. Welcome to my bedroom. I just reused my old mattress that I had been sleeping on for a couple of years. It's a full size. A twin I think would have been a little bit too small, and anything larger than a full might have taken up too much of the space. But I really like my space back here because it's kind of secluded, it's a little nook, I feel very safe and cozy, And I also incorporated some storage underneath the bed for everyday items. I have like dry shampoo, I have lotion, I have stuff like that. And my closet was also from Habitat for Humanity, and it was $10, and it is very functional for me. I can fit a lot of clothes, I have a full-length mirror, and in the back I have my instant on hot water heater. That's the pipe in the back going through the roof. I decided to go with an instant water heater so as to save a little bit of water and use my propane wisely. So far it's been really great. I've not had any issues with it. So I also have my original emergency hatch that I added a skylight to because I wanted to keep the functionality of the hatch but also allow extra natural light into the bedroom area since it is more closed off. Welcome to my bathroom. In my bathroom I decided to go with a full-size situation. I don't like the idea of a wet bath or having to move my toilet out or having to dry my toilet after showering. So I wanted to take up 3 windows in the build, which is doable because again, it's just me. So I have a full-size shower and space in between, and then I have a DIY composting toilet. In my shower, I have a snake mural, which I thought would add a little bit of uniqueness and artwork to the bus. I decided just to seal those wooden plywood walls with spar urethane. I sprayed 11 coats on to ensure that it was watertight. In the shower, I also added a skylight bubble, which is opaque, but it adds an extra 5 inches to the ceiling height because I'm 5'10" and it gets shorter towards the edge of the bus. I needed that extra space to be able to stand up and actually wash my hair. I decided against buying a manufactured composting toilet because I felt confident in the fact that I could accomplish that same. So I built out a box and I used a urine diverter that I bought from Strumpet and Trollop. It's a really great company and I love the way that it separates the solids and liquids. And I was able to build my toilet for less than $200. So as we move down the hallway, I'll point out my fantastic fan that I retrofitted to the original emergency hatch. Skoolie.com actually provides the panels that can adapt to a 14-inch hole from the original 32-inch hole of the bus. From here, we'll come to the AC unit, which I had to cut a new hole in the ceiling. It was quite the feat, but we got it done, and I used the surround from the original hatch over this hatch to try to finish the edge. Something that most people notice right away when they walk in is my mini artwork collection. I have had this collection for several years and I've been building on it every year, and it was one thing I was not going to compromise when moving into the bus. So I'm glad that they all fit and they all came with me because they're very sentimental. Some of them are from places that I've traveled to in Europe or wherever, and some of them are just from vintage stores or thrift shops. It just depends. Usually the painting calls to me and I pick it up. Here we have my couch. I wanted to make sure that it was a functional space for me. I did not want a dinette, so in addition to the couch that also pulls out to a bed, it pulls out to an L shape, and I have a flip forward table. I used my old bed frame and re-welded it into different pieces to be able to just flip forward from behind the couch, and I can use it to eat on, I can use it to play cards, I can host people, or I can just use it as an office space to work. Initially, I was just traveling off of savings. I'm a commercial photographer, so I do that every now and then whenever somebody needs it. And lately I've been painting some murals, so that's been fun. I've had several people approach me about doing that, so that's been a nice source of income as something different that I haven't done before, something interesting and new. Well, for anyone watching the video, I would hope that they walk away feeling like it is attainable. It doesn't matter what your rig looks like on the inside or the outside. It's more about the spirit of traveling. It's about the spirit of meeting people. I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. I think I have everything that I need right here in the bus. This is the life that I want to live. I want to explore and see the world, because how do I know if I want to settle somewhere or where I want to settle if I've never seen that place? That's kind of what I've been looking for, is a place that really feels like home. Eventually, I would like to buy a homestead, maybe park the bus. I don't feel comfortable settling somewhere until I've seen all of what the US has to offer, which is a lot.
Thanks for watching this week's video. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you soon with another unique home tour.